Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 20th of March and we will be dealing with three very important topics which are in news. Out of the three, one is the thematic discussion which we will be resuming from today, that is the chapter by chapter discussion of economic survey. We have completed 5 chapters and now we have entered into the 6th chapter. And 6th chapter is all about India's infrastructure development. Infrastructure is one of the key ingredients for development. We are aiming a Viksit Bharat by 2047 and at the core is infrastructure development. If that is not on, I would say in line, development will not happen. And we are not talking only about roads or railways. We are also talking about digital infrastructure over here. We are talking about urban infrastructure, rural infrastructure. Every aspect we will be covering in this particular topic or in this particular chapter. This chapter probably will be covered in 3 parts in today's class, tomorrow's and Saturday's. Then apart from this thematic discussion, the 2 topics which we will be picking up for discussion. First is Japan's deployment of anti-ship missiles on the Kyushu island. Kyushu is one of the southernmost islands of Japan and this deployment is basically done due to China and North Korea. Kyushu is strategically located and from Kyushu, there are arcs which can reach both these hostile countries to Japan. And tensions in that portion of the world can also rise. Although this step has been taken by Japan just as a defensive step. Second is human coronavirus. A woman in West Bengal contracted the human coronavirus. This coronavirus is different from COVID-19. Why? Because COVID-19 was a novel virus believed to be coming into humans from bats. It was a zoonotic virus. This human coronavirus is not a novel virus. It has been circulating among the humans since 2005. Similarity is that both COVID and this human coronavirus spread in the same way. There is no treatment available for both of these diseases. However, COVID-19 is vaccine preventable now. But yes, this is having mild symptoms and it is not, a virus of a pandemic grade. So this is what we need to know about it. And let us get into the details now. Japan's deployment of anti-ship missiles on the Kyushu island. The Kyushu island is this orange colored island, the southernmost island which you can see from here. And the reason is basically North Korea. And here is China. So this is the East China Sea, which is, problematic, full of tensions. Taiwan is here. China is doing a lot of activities over here. East China Sea, if we move westward of East China Sea, we come to or towards the South China Sea. And that is, a theater of conflict. So that is the reason why these missiles have been deployed to enhance the counter-strike capabilities of Japan. It is a defensive move, not an offensive one. Let me be very clear. Reasons for deployment: China's growing military presence in the East China Sea and tensions over Taiwan. And since Donald Trump has come into power, so, these kind of volatilities will be more visible in the times to come. And that is why Japan is preparing itself for such kind of volatilities. North Korea's threats, nuclear and missile threats from North Korea have raised alarms. Kyushu's strategic location, its proximity to China and North Korea. So in this map, I will show you the proximity of this. This is basically this island which we are talking about, Kyushu island. So its proximity to North Korea over here, then China over here, this is Taiwan. So in the previous map we saw North Korea. So North Korea is, this is South Korea, above South Korea is North Korea. So proximity is there. And this region, the East China Sea, is a region full of tensions. A region full of tensions due to the expansionist tendencies of China. So Japan being a staunch ally of USA, is preparing itself. Although, last year there was an article in the Indian Express, and in that article, the author clearly told that Japan is now becoming Atmanirbhar, or I would say self-capable in defense. Earlier, it was too much dependent upon USA for its defense needs. During his last tenure as president, Mr. Donald Trump clearly said that countries like Japan and South Korea, why they are dependent upon USA? Do they lack technology? Do they lack funds? They do not lack neither or either of these. Then why are they dependent upon USA? And that was enough as a hint for Japan to, focus on its self capabilities. As a result, now Japan, is doing this as well. This can be understood, or this can be linked to that episode as well, because Donald Trump again is the president of USA. Now, strategic importance of Kyushu Island, geographical significance, we've seen that. Proximity to Taiwan and China, this is a region of tension, we've seen this as well. Now, the role of long range anti-ship missiles, these missiles are being deployed over there. So, Japan's military strategy emphasizes rapid, precise strikes in case of rising regional tensions. It has been upgraded to Type 12 anti-ship missile system. So, what is this Type 12 anti-ship missile system? It is designed for coastal defense. Type 12 missile has been enhanced for greater reach and stealth. The range is 1000 kilometers. Earlier, it was 200 kilometers only. So, greater reach means greater range. So, that is there, with plans to extend it to 1200 kilometers. Improved stealth, redesigned to evade enemy radar detection. Advanced targeting, enhanced guidance system for precise targeting of enemy ships and facilities. So, yes, Japan has done this by its own. Now, where are these missiles deployed? We know that it is the Kyushu Island on which these missiles are deployed, but where on Kyushu Island? There are two locations. First is Yufu in the Oita prefecture. So, this is Yufu, magnified view. This entire is this Kyushu Island, and in the center of Kyushu Island is Yufu. And then second is Kumamoto City. Kumamoto City is on the westernmost side of the Kyushu Island. So, these two are the locations on which the missiles are deployed, obviously strategically in that island. Kyushu Island in itself is strategic, but yes, these positions or these locations are in itself very strategic. Now, Japan's broader defense strategy, counter strike and deterrence. Japan aims to maintain a credible deterrent against regional adversaries. Regional adversaries are two, North Korea and China. South Korea, Japan, good friends, no problem. Left are two, that is, China and North Korea. ASEAN countries, good friends of Japan. Strengthening alliances. Japan's military modernization reflects its commitment to strong defense ties, especially with the US. Now, US is tightening its grip on China, and it will be needing allies. And allies like Japan, South Korea will now come into picture. Although they have turned towards, Atmanirbharta, they are wanting to reduce their dependence upon USA, but USA will now be seeking their assistance if they want to contain China. So, this is an interesting equation which can unfold in this region. But yes, to conclude, we should know that peace is the ultimate solution. Whether it be Japan, USA, ASEAN countries, China, North Korea, South Korea, any stakeholder in that region, all should be targeting towards peace. All these countries are interdependent also. Like, for example, they have a lot of trade with China, but there are geopolitical tensions among them. So, those geopolitical tensions should be maneuvered, should be tactfully handled. That should be the ultimate objective of it. Why did we cover this topic? We covered this topic because, UPSC is fond of asking map-based questions. The Kyushu Island, which seas and all are there, you should know it. And that is why I pasted those pictures of maps as well. Now, the next topic is human coronavirus. A lady in West Bengal was found to be infected with this human coronavirus. but nothing to worry about because this virus is not considered a virus with pandemic potential like COVID-19 was considered. The name of this virus is HKU1 strain, and the patient in Kolkata which contracted this virus is stable also. So this is there. Now what is HKU1 virus? So unlike COVID was a novel virus. Novel means new virus. At that time of outbreak, HKU was identified in 2005. So HKU1 is not a novel virus. We are calling it coronavirus because corona is a category, crown like shape it is. So here you are seeing these crowns. These are the crowns. So any viruses having these kind of shapes are referred to as coronavirus. They are the family of viruses. So this is human coronavirus. COVID-19 was another type of coronavirus. Nature of infection. It causes mild respiratory infections. According to Dr. Suranjit Chatterjee, a senior consultant in internal medicine, it is not a cause for panic, as most people will likely encounter this virus during their lifetime. And it is having mild symptoms, so it is recoverable. What are the symptoms which happen? The common cold-like symptoms happen. Cold and flu, like malaise, general discomfort or unease, persistent cough, runny nose or nasal congestion, blocked sinuses, sore throat, fatigue, low-grade fever, all these happen. Severe cases, in some cases, HKU1 can lead to more serious conditions like pneumonia or bronchitis, but there has not been any report of fatalities as of now due to this virus. So that is a breather. Now, who is at risk? Generally, when the viruses are spread, the elderly and the children, they are the ones who are at the higher risk. And here also, the elderly, the children, pregnant women, people with weakened immune systems and individuals with pre-existing health conditions like diabetes and all. So they are more, I would say, prone to such kind of or contracting such kind of viruses. It is a self-limiting disease. For most people, the infection resolves on its own within a short time. It does not take long. How does it spread? Similarly, like COVID spread. If you come in close contact, then it can spread. So direct contact with an infected person via respiratory droplets from coughing or sneezing, or touching contaminated surfaces and then touching the face, mouth or nose, same way in which COVID was spread. Prevention methods, again same which we used to follow for COVID. The same preventive measures during the COVID-19 pandemic should be followed. Hand hygiene, washing of hands, masks, cough etiquette, rest and hydration, all these are there. There are no antiviral drugs, neither for COVID nor for this. Okay, so there are no specific antiviral treatments for this virus. Supportive care and symptomatic relief are generally sufficient for recovery. Patanjali rolled out Coronil, but it is not a cure for coronavirus. Let me tell you this. So there is no medicine as of now. But yes, nothing to worry. Mild symptoms are there. It is self-treatable. You need to treat the symptoms only. You need to be taking the preventive measures which we used to take during COVID. That is it. Now entering into the thematic discussion, that is the chapter 6 of economic survey. Chapter 6 is all about infrastructure development, as infrastructure is a very important ingredient for the overall development of any country. Physical infrastructure, roads, railways, ports, these are very important. Airports also we can count. Apart from it, digital infrastructure, rural infrastructure, urban infrastructure, all these become very important. And if we want to be there by 2047, infrastructure development cannot take a back seat. It cannot. So let's get started with this particular chapter. So investment in infrastructure, there is a requirement, substantial infrastructure investment over the next decade. Current spending needs to be increased. How much ever you invest in infrastructure, that is less. You need to understand it in this way. Capex means capital expenditure. The expenditure done to create capital assets which will reward you in the times to come. That is called as capex. So capex increase from FY20 to FY24 with an average of 38.8% capex has increased of the government. That is good news. We need to do this expenditure. Focus on infrastructure. Priority sectors which we are considering: atomic energy, because this is the cleanest source of energy. We're talking about small modular reactors and all also now. Civil aviation, telecommunications, renewable energy, railways, housing and urban affairs, ports, rural development, roads, overall power generation. So these are the priority sectors for the government, and yes, these priority sectors have to be focused upon. Now, initiatives taken by the government, there are two key initiatives. First is the National Infrastructure Pipeline. It is basically containing all those infrastructure projects which have to be accomplished by the government, and for that purpose 111 lakh crore rupees investment from FY20 to 25 have to be done. Projects over 9766 projects across 37 subsectors are undertaken in this NIP, that is National Infrastructure Pipeline. Tracking: India Investment Grid NIP Project Monitoring Group portal is there to track the progress on this particular pipeline. Then there is this National Monetization Pipeline. We need to monetize the non-performing infrastructure assets of the government. Launched August 2021, monetization of core infrastructure assets worth 6 lakh crore from FY22 to 25 have happened in this. These were stalled infrastructure projects. They have been monetized, they are now working, and they are now rewarding also. Achievements: from FY22 to FY24, target of 4.3 lakh crore achieved 3.86 lakh crore. So 4.3 lakh crore was the target, achieved is 3.86 lakh crore. FY25 target 1.91 lakh crore rupees. Top performing sector: roads, power, coal and mines. So infrastructure definitely is rolling in the country, and yes, it is visible to the eyes as well. Challenges in infrastructure development: there is a gap, significant gap in infrastructure development despite increased capex. Capex has increased, but infrastructure development up to that scale is not happening. Goal: Viksit Bharat requires innovative financing and greater private sector participation. This simply means that despite increasing the capex, the allocated amount is still less. That is why that infrastructure is not visible, and that is why we need to find innovative solutions for funding, like public private partnerships, rolling out bonds and all, raising funds basically. Impact of elections was there. Last year there were general elections, and when there are general elections, the model code of conduct comes into picture, and when the model code of conduct comes into picture, no government activities as such can happen, and due to that government's capex went on the back seat. So quarter 1 of FY25, quarter 1 from April to June, April, May, June. So that was election time. Capex affected by general elections and model code of conduct. Weather also played a spoil sport later on. Unusual weather patterns slowed down progress as well. So landslides, floods, heat waves, all these happened. So there were I would say hindrances for infrastructure development to be there. Capex improvement post elections: yes, from the second quarter, or we can say from July onwards, capex saw an uptick. Ministries used 60% of their budgeted capex between April to November 2024. From December, January, February, March, these 4 months are still left. Government's efforts: innovative frameworks attract private investment and speed up infrastructure projects. Key initiatives: National Infrastructure Pipeline, National Monetization Pipeline to streamline infrastructure development and address financing challenges. Now, key facts on India's railway and physical connectivity. What are the key facts? Now we've entered into railways. Okay. So railway network expansion in FY24, 2282 kilometers commissioned. In FY25, April to November, 2031 kilometers commissioned. That is, we will be matching because 4 months are left. Rolling stock production: wagons. FY24, from April to November, 968 wagons produced. In FY25, in the same time period, April to November, 1042 wagons produced, means a rise was there. Locomotives, FY24 April to November, 220 locomotives produced, and in the same time period in FY25, 261 locomotives, means here also there is an upgrade. Vande Bharat trains, these are iconic trains, and these are going to become the hallmark of Indian Railways in the times to come, and these are semi-high speed rails. So 17 new pairs introduced between April and October 2024. And after October also many new Vande Bharat trains have been started, like Delhi Srinagar. It has started. Coaches, 228 Vande Bharat coaches produced during this period. 68 pairs in service by October 2024, up from 2 pairs in 2018 to 22. 900 Vande Bharat coaches produced by October 2024, up from 32 units in 2018 to 2022. That is a substantial rise. Although this is these facts no need to remember, but yes, overall gist if you have about railways expansion, railways development, that will be beneficial. Major projects which are being undertaken: Mumbai Ahmedabad high speed rail. This is the bullet train which is expected to start in 2025, that is this year, but as of now 47.17% physical progress with an expenditure of 67,486 crore has been done as of October 2024. Total expenditure is 1.08 lakh crore rupees, which simply means that 2/3 of the expenditure has been done, but 47.17% physical completion of the work is being witnessed. Dedicated freight corridors on which only the dedicated freight trains will run, and there is this eastern dedicated freight corridor which goes from Punjab to West Bengal, Ludhiana to Dankuni to be exact, and we have one western dedicated freight corridor which starts from Dadri and it goes to the JNPT, that is Jawaharlal Nehru Port Terminal. So 2741 kilometers commissioned out of 2843 kilometers, means 96.4% completion as of November 2024 was there. Improved logistics by allowing higher freight volumes without passenger train interference, because this is a dedicated freight corridor, so no passenger trains will be running on these freight corridors, only freight trains. Station development, Amrit Bharat station scheme, 1337 stations have been identified for redevelopment, and on this, out of this 1337 stations, 1197 stations, the work has started. Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras, so started 50 Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras at railway stations. These are for providing generic medicines for affordable healthcare services. Inaugurated additional 18 Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras in November 2024. Food and catering services, new mobile catering policy introduced in November 14, 2023. You can order food via online food ordering apps like Zomato and all if you are traveling by train, and your food will be delivered on the station. So it is like this. Base kitchens, 557 base kitchens servicing 468 pairs of trains are there. One station, one product scheme at 1900 stations with 2163 outlets. So whatever product is famous of that particular region, that product will be up for sale in those stations. This is the ultimate objective of this. Passenger facilities, train indication boards, they have been installed at 1351 stations. Coach guidance system installed at 866 stations. Wi-Fi available at 6112 stations. Small facts, but yes, not so relevant. The signaling system improvements, elimination of mechanical signaling, upgraded 25 out of 62 pending stations to electrical or electronic interlocking systems by FY25. Kavach system, that is a very important because train accidents were quite common. So investment of 1547 crore rupees till November 2024 have been done for installing the Kavach system on the trains. Electronic interlocking systems, 227 stations in FY25, bringing total coverage to 3576 stations, and automatic block signaling, 720 route kilometers in FY25 have been done. Now that was railways. Now coming on to the road network. The total road network, 63.4 lakh kilometers in India. National highways is 1,46,195 kilometers, which is only 2% of the total road network of India. But this national highways carries 40% of the overall road freight traffic. National highways construction, FY24, 6215 kilometers constructed. In FY25, for the same period, 5853 kilometers constructed. There is a dip slightly over here. Shift to corridor based approach from 2014 to 2024 was there. Increase in highway length increased from 91,287 kilometers to 1.46 lakh kilometers in total. That is national highways. National industrial corridor programs, the corridor based approach it is to create advanced industrial cities in India. Focus sectors: electronics, semiconductors, renewables, automobiles, pharmaceutical, textiles and apparel. So wherever the industries of these products will be there, road connectivity will be enhanced. That is the main, I would say, objective of this corridor based approach. 383 plots have been allocated across 4 cities: Dholera in Gujarat, Shendra Bidkin in Maharashtra, Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh and Vikram Udyog Puri in Madhya Pradesh. Work started in 4 other cities: Tumakuru in Karnataka, Krishnapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Nangal Chaudhary in Haryana and Dadri in Uttar Pradesh. The 12 new industrial cities incorporating Industry 4.0 standards have been approved as well. So these are, I would say, the corridors which will be coming up in the times to come. There can be a semiconductor corridor, there can be an electronic corridor which can be carrying electronic products and all. So it is like this. So key initiatives: Bharatmala Pariyojana developed 34,800 kilometers of national highways, 76% awarded, 18,926 kilometers constructed by 2024. The Char Dham Mahamarg Pariyojana, this is in Uttarakhand. It is connecting Badrinath, Kedarnath, Yamunotri and Gangotri. And this will not only boost religious tourism, but it will also boost connectivity to the border areas. That is a I would say, by objective of this particular infrastructure development project. National high-speed corridors from 93 kilometers in 2014 to 2,474 kilometers in 2024. 4-lane and above national highways, 18,300 kilometers in 2024 there were, and 45,900 kilometers by 2024 they are. So this is what progress has been in this. But yes, we are following sustainable practices in highway development. Sustainable practices like advanced traffic management is there. Multimodal logistics parks are being built, where multiple modes of transport are being connected: road with railways, with waterways and such like. National highway maintenance policy is there, includes performance based maintenance contracts and short term maintenance contracts. Vehicle scrapping policy: 82 registered vehicle scrapping facilities operational, having scrapped about 1.62 vehicles already. Like those diesel vehicles, passenger vehicles I'm talking about, who have surpassed 10 years, they are not allowed on the road in Delhi NCR region. Those vehicles petrol vehicles who have surpassed 15 years, they are not allowed in the Delhi NCR region. They have to be scrapped compulsorily. This is the scrapping policy which the government has brought in, which is contributing in reducing the emissions. Ropeway projects: 15 projects in progress, including those in Varanasi, Dhosi, Hill, Bijli Mahadev and Ujjain. So yes, this is also happening, the ropeways and all. So this is what you need to know about the road infrastructure development. Now in tomorrow's segment, we will be dealing with other modes of infrastructure, like we will be talking about rural infrastructure, urban infrastructure and such like. We'll be talking about digital infrastructure as well. So this is how we'll be covering this particular topic. Now coming on to the MCQs based on these 3 topics which we have covered today. First, arrange these water bodies from north to south: Sea of Okhotsk, East China Sea, Sea of Japan. 1, 2, 3. This simply means 1, Sea of Okhotsk is in the northernmost, then it is East China Sea followed by East China Sea, and the southernmost is Sea of Japan. This option simply means that 1, 2, 3 means that. So you have to find out the correct one. Second, consider the following statements with respect to human coronavirus and mark the correct one. It is not a novel virus. It causes mild symptoms and can be treated by an antiviral drug. Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Third, what are the similarities between HKU1 and COVID-19? Both are transmitted in the same manner. Both are vaccine preventable. Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Fourth, which of these factors impacted capex in FY25? corruption, elections, or unpredictable weather events. So you have to, find it, I would say, carefully. Now, yesterday's MCQs. Consider the following assertion and reasoning statements and mark the correct ones. Assertion: India-New Zealand trade agreement negotiations have failed in the past. This statement is true in itself. 2010 these negotiations started, 2015 it ended, trade agreement was not adopted, hence it was considered as a failed. Reason: there were differences on agriculture and dairy trade. This statement is also correct, and that is the reason why the talks failed. One of the reasons why the talks failed. Another reason was the average tariff levied by India was 17.8%, whereas the average tariff levied by New Zealand on Indian products was only 2.3%. So, A, both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. So, this is A option. Second, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. India and New Zealand established formal diplomatic relations in 1952, which is very true. Both India and New Zealand are part of Commonwealth. This is also true. So, both 1 and 2. C is the correct option over here. Third, consider the following pairs and mark how many of them are correctly matched. Type of UNESCO site: natural, cultural, mixed. There are 35 natural sites in India, which is true. There are 7 cultural sites in India. This is wrong. And there is 1 mixed site in India, that is Kanchenjunga National Park. So, only 2 of them are correct. Only 2 pairs are correctly matched. Hence, B is the correct option over here. Next question. Which of these can be considered as astronomical significance of Mudumal megalithic menhirs? Mudumal megalithic menhirs in Telangana. These are tall standing, I would say, rocks, and it helped ancient people to determine direction at night and marking change of seasons. They are cup shaped and they are tracking the North Star. That is why. So, C is the correct option over here. And last, recently Kangar Valley National Park was in news. In which state of India it is located? Very straightforward question. It is in Bastar, and Bastar is in Chhattisgarh. So, A is the correct option over here. So, with this, we have come to an end of today's session. I'll be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste, Jai Hind.